guys, this is Venom coming at you with another video. Today I'm going to be showing you a 1-bar heavy attack Arcanist PvP build. We'll start first with the gear sets. Lightning Staff of the Sergeant, Sharpened Trait, Disease Damage Enchantment. 2-piece Max Health, 3-piece Health Recovery, 4-piece Weapon and Spell Damage. 5-piece, when you deal damage with a heavy attack, you gain a stack of Sergeant's Focus for 5 seconds, increasing the damage of your heavy attacks by 645 per stack. This effect can occur once every second, stacks up to 4 times. We have 5 medium, 1 heavy, 1 light on this build. This is the head, medium, all pieces are divines with max magic enchantments. Falcon Scoria, it provides 1487 offensive penetration. Chest is your heavy, sergeants. The next set is Savara Scales. This provides max health, max stamina, max magicka, reduces damage taken from guards by 20%. When you deal damage, you cause a burst of Lamia poison that deals 770 poison damage in a 5-meter radius, and an additional 8,130 poison damage over 6 seconds to all enemies hit. This effect can occur once every 7 seconds. It scales off the higher of your weapon and spell damage. Your light piece is your waist. And then your hands, legs, and feet are Savaras. So you have 5 medium, 1 heavy, 1 light. Your necklace and ring of sergeants. All of them are bloodthirsty with weapon and spell damage enchantments. The other ring is Oaken Soul. While equipped, you are unable to swap between your primary and backup weapon sets. You gain Minor Berserk, Minor Courage, Major Brutality, Major Sorcery, Major Prophecy, Major Savagery, Minor Force, Minor Protection, Major Resolve, Minor Mending, Minor Fortitude, Minor Intellect, Minor Endurance, Minor Heroism, Minor Slayer, Minor Aegis, and Empower. Alright, we'll jump into the skills. This is what I like to run out in PvP. These skills are interchangeable depending on what you like, but this is just kind of how I've sorted through it and what I like to run. I do change out one skill periodically depending on what I'm getting at, what I'm trying to achieve. If I'm trying to help other people around me, we'll get into that in a second. But Impervious Rune Ward. Like the Rune Knights of old, summon a shield that absorbs 17,449 damage for 1 second, and then 10,468 damage for 5 seconds. If the shield persists, both shields scale off your max health. The first time you take damage, the shield retaliates and deals 3,613 magic damage to the attacker, scaling off your armor. It consumes a crux to heal yourself for 2,815 health, scaling off your max health per crux spent. Next is your spammable Crushing Shock. This can be found in the Destruction Staff skill line. This will deal Flame Frost and Shock damage. Enemies hit while casting are interrupted and set off balance and stunned for 3 seconds. Next also, this comes from the Destruction Staff skill line, Elemental Susceptibility. This is going to apply Major Breach to your target for 30 seconds. Reducing their physical and spell resistance by 5,948. It's got a 35-meter range. Every 7.5 seconds, the enemy is afflicted with burning, chilled, and concussion status effect. Next is Rune of the Colorless Pool. The duration is 4 seconds, 15-meter range. You put a rune on your enemy's mind, paralyzing them in fear. After a 1-second delay, you stun them for 4 seconds. It applies Minor Vulnerability and Minor Brittle for 20 seconds, increasing their damage taken by 5% and their critical damage taken by 10%. If you use it on a monster, the paralysis lasts for 8 seconds. Next is your heal, or you can heal other people with this as well, and it's also going to generate crux. This is the Evolved Rune Mend. Craft a series of adaptive apocryphal runes, then propel them at yourself or an ally in front of you. The rune heals 4,176 health 3 times, and an additional 5,034 health over 6 seconds, and you generate a crux. Each active crux reduces the cost of this ability by 3%. And then the ultimate, Sanctum of the Abyssal Sea. It's only cost 180 ultimate, lasts 10 seconds. and you get an absolutely bonkers ward. The tentacles from the damage shield absorbs 60% of all damage for 10 seconds, up to a max of 66,333 damage, scaling off your max health. When the shield collapses, you lash out, dealing all magic damage absorbed as magic damage to enemies within 5 meters over 10 seconds. Keep in mind that wards and heals and stuff are kind of cut back in PvP. The wards are literally cut in half. So this would read 17,449 here, but really you're looking at about 8.5k, and then a 5k ward that comes on after it. And this says 66, so in PvP you're looking around 33k ward, which is still a lot. So the way you want to run this ultimate is to not really try to avoid damage, but instead go at it. When you proc your ultimate, you want to absorb the damage, and then as the shield collapses, you're going to have a ring around your character that's going to be helping you deal damage. So it's a great way to survive, especially if you have people coming in trying to do like a bomber build. As long as you're not in the epicenter, kind of on the outskirts of it, you can still take some damage. It's not going to kill you between using this and this. For the most part, you're going to be fine. And then you're going to reflect a lot of that damage that you've absorbed back at them, up to 33,000. So it's a good combo to run. The other skill that I like to sometimes swap out for this one here is this, the Reconstructive Domain. You draw forth a tome, invoke the Leviathan of the Abyssal Sea to conjure a vortex of eldritch power. Standing in this vortex grants you and your allies minor courage, minor fortitude, minor intellect, and minor endurance, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 215 and your health, magic, and stamina recovery by 15%. Yes, we have Oaken Soul. It already provides these, but this is to help other people around you. If you're in a group and you're going up against another group, you can notice a difference. When you put this down on the ground, if those people are not running these, they don't already have these buffs, you can tell a difference just by helping buff them. This is also going to provide you and people around you a heal over time. The Vortex also heals you and your allies for 17,897 health over 20 seconds. So it's a good way to sustain and buff people around you. That's the skill I like to swap out occasionally. Alright, we'll take a look at some of the passives. Fated Fortune. Warp Fate when you generate Presumed Crux, increasing your critical damage and critical healing 12% for 7 seconds. Artist Quintessence. You master the warp and weft of your very soul. When you are restored magic or stamina, increase your weapon and spell damage 5% for 10 seconds. Psychic Legion. Your attacks wound the mind with hetical knowledge, increasing damage dealt by status effects by 15% and status effect chance by 75%. If you guys are sleeping on the Arcanist, this is one of the main reasons why you should give them a try. Just to be able to apply status effect chance. This is kind of almost like running a charged trait on your weapon, when you don't have to run a charged trait on your weapon. You can run something like Sharpened or Precise, whatever you like. And this is going to allow you to generate status effects on people with a much higher chance. And you're going to increase the damage of those status effects by 15%. Splintered Secrets. What they don't know can kill them. Increase your physical and spell penetration by 991 per Herald of Tome ability slotted. We don't have any of those things slotted on our guy at the moment. If you like, you can run some of these other skills. We'll get into them here in a minute. This is just, again, what I like to have on my guy, but you may want to run something different. I like to run other things. I mean, like the Escalating Rune Blades, I would like this skill a lot more if it had a longer range. It's just 22 meter range. You find it a lot of times when you're trying to deal ranged combat that you're further back than that. It doesn't reach your target. Whereas like Crushing Shock, for example, not only does it have good damage, but it also has the utility, the interrupt, the off balance, all of that it will provide and give you. It's just, so I mean, 22 meter range. I wish OS would increase the range of these, really. But anyway, we'll get down here into these other passives. Aegis of the Unseen. From a secret soldier within your mind, a defense against arcane forces without. While a beneficial soldier of apocryphal ability is active upon you, increase your armor by 1980. This skill right here will also proc that for you. Wellspring of the Abyss. Apocryphal knowledge bubbles up from the depths within your psyche, increasing your health, magic, and stamina recovery by 129 for each soldier with apocryphal ability slotted. Circumvented Fate. Casting Arcanist ability warps and weaves of fate around you, granting you and your group members minor evasion for 20 seconds, reducing your damage taken from area attacks by 10%. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds. This is just an absolute phenomenal passive to have on your guy. Whether you're in PvP or PvE, this is just fantastic. I find a lot of times when you're out, you're trying to take a keep, people are shooting a lot of siege. This is going to help with that a lot. Implacable Outcome. The will of the Arcanist is absolute. When you consume Crux, you gain 4 ultimate. This can occur every 8 seconds. Underneath the curative rune forms, Healing Tides. Your mastery of weaving fate and abyssal water increase your healing done by 3% for each active Crux. So when you generate your Crux with your heal, this will stack up to 3 times. This will give you each active Crux reduces the cost of the ability 3%. So you have 9% reduction of its cost. And then this passive here will give you a 9% more stronger heal. Hideous Clarity. You stare too long into the abyss. When you generate Crux, you store 225 magic or stamina, whichever maximum is higher. Iteration. Knowledge is power. Your excessive scholarship increases your magic and stamina recovery by 18%. Intricate rune forms. This is going to increase the strength of your damage shields by 10%. Underneath your destruction staff, this is where your crushing shock and elemental susceptibility can be found. Let's make sure that you grab all of your passives. We are running 5 medium, 1 heavy, 1 light. So make sure that you grab your passives for your armor. If you do decide to run Fighters Guild abilities, Silver Charge is a good option to run as a spammable. It does cost stamina to run, but you can hit up to 2 targets. If you run Slayer and Banish the Wicked and Skill Tracker, you can deal extra damage to player vampires and werewolves. This will help you also generate more ultimate whenever you kill an enemy. And this is going to increase your weapon and spell damage for each Fighter's Guild ability slotted. You may even opt to run Dawnbreaker as one of your ultimates. Underneath the Undaunted, just grab your 2 passives here. Undaunted Command, activating its synergy, restores 4% of your max health, stamina, and magicka. Undaunted Metal, increase your max health, stamina, and magicka up to 6% because we have a heavy, medium, and light piece equipped. Underneath Assault and Support, grab your passives again. Continuous Attack. This is going to increase your weapon and spell damage 10%, magic and stamina recovery 20% for 10 minutes after you capture a lumber mill, farm, mine, or keep. It's going to give you major gallop at all times, increasing your mount speed by 30%. You definitely want that when you're trying to get back and forth between the keeps and the outposts. Just get into the fray. Reach is going to increase the long range abilities by 5 meters when you're near a keep or outpost. Any ability with a range greater than 28 meters is affected. Combat Frenzy. You generate 20 ultimate whenever you kill an enemy player. Sport. Magic Aid, increase your magic recovery 10% for each, which we don't have any of these, but there is good options in here if you want to level these up and use them. Siege Shield is a good one to have if people are pouring oil on your ram, your ballistas. You can always use this. Purge is a good way to remove these negative status effects from your guy. Revealing Flare, there's more underneath that can give you major protection, reducing your damage by 10%, pulling people out of stealth. There's some good stuff in there if you want to run those as one of your skills. Barrier, is a good choice to run. This is going to give you a damage shield. This is going to help supply some heals to your people as well. Combat Medic, increase your healing done 20% when you're near a keep. And Battle Resurrection, reduce the time it takes to resurrect another player by 30% in your PvP area. We are a high elf on this build. Again, no matter whatever race you decide to choose, make sure you grab your passives. With a high elf, it gives spell recharge. It's going to give you 625 magic or stamina based on whichever is the lowest. It's going to occur every 6 seconds. When you're using an ability with a channel or cast time, you take 5. This also works when you're just doing your heavy attack. That's considered a channel ability, so that's going to be 5% damage mitigation just doing your heavy attacks. Cerebane's Boon is going to increase your max magic by 2,000. Elemental Talent gives you 258 weapon and spell damage. Alright, let's take a look at the champion tree. Going to the blue. We have Weapon Expert. This is going to increase the damage done with light and heavy attacks by a total of 20%. Deadly Aim, increase the damage done with single target attacks by a total of 6%. Wrathful Strikes, it's going to give you 205 weapon and spell damage. Occult Overload, when you kill an enemy, it's under the status effect. They violently explode for 5,185 oblivion damage to all enemies in a 4-meter radius and applying a random status effect to each enemy hit. It's going to occur once every second. This is why we're running Savara skills. When that Lamia Poison bursts off into a cloud, not only does it deal damage immediately, it deals damage over time. And we're an Arcanist, which is going to ensure that's kind of like almost like having the charged status effect. So everything is going to get this poison applied to it. It's going to get the status effect. It's going to trigger a Occult Overload. It's kind of like a mini bomb going off. So yeah, and then all of these people, they get hit with a random status effect too. So it's really, really good to run. All right, the red tree. Celerity is going to increase your movement speed by a total of 10%. Strategic Reserve gives 30 health recovery for every 10 ultimate you have. This is just a great way to sustain, keep your health coming back into your guy. The more you have, the more health recovery you have. Fortified gives 1731 armor. Balanced Vitality is 1400 health. Underneath the green tree, Rationer. This adds 10 minutes to your duration of any food or drink, increasing a character's stats per stage. It's going to give you a total of 30 minutes. Liquid Efficiency, whenever you use a potion or poison, you have a 10% chance to not consume it. It gets kind of expensive out in PvP if you're running defense pots or whatever pots you run. You know, it's 10% chance, you get a freebie. Gifted Rider is going to increase your mount speed by 10%. Steed's Blessing, increase your out of combat movement speed by a total of 20%. Alright, we'll take a look at some of these other skills that you might want to swap out. Abyssal Impact, there's a couple morphs. Cephalic's Flail and Tentacular Dread. This is a stamina version. On cast, you heal yourself and generate crux. You deal increased damage to enemies below half health. This deals 7,514 physical damage, healing you for 3,738, and it generates a crux. Enemies are mobilized for 3 seconds and marked with Abyssal Ink for 20 seconds. Deals up to 100% more damage to enemies with less than 50% health. You deal 5% increased damage to enemies drenched in Abyssal Ink. Tentacular Dread. This converts to magic ability, deals frost damage. Consume crux to increase the base damage of the Abyssal Ink strength. So what you want to do here is just generate up to 3 crux to maximize your damage and then use your skill. It's an okay skill to run. Again, it's only a 15-meter range. So if you're up on top of a keep or any kind of distance at all greater than 15 meters, you're just not going to hit your target. I like to play a little bit further back away from my targets. Again, that's why Crushing Shock is 28 meters. Elemental Susceptibility is 35 meters. You know, this right here is 15 meters. You do have to be close, but when you're close, you're going to be stunning your target, so they're not going to be caving your skull in the meantime. This is your heal, your ward, your ultimate, and then your ward. So, and this is going to reflect damage back too. So again, that's kind of a ranged build. This is another good skill, the Tome Bearer's Inspiration. Inspired Scholarship increases the frequency of the damage. You etch a series of runes in your weapon that pulse with power once every 3 seconds. Each pulse enhances your class abilities Striking an enemy with one deals an additional 3,700 non-magic damage and generates crux if you have none. This will give you major sorcery and brutality, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 20%. Keep in mind that we already have that built into Oaken Soul, but if you're not running Oaken Soul, this is a good way to get that on your guy. The other morph, when dealing damage, restore magic and stamina. And a perfect ring is another decent skill as well. Place a rune on the target that deals damage and pulls nearby enemies after a delay. It's kind of like Dark Convergence. It'll pull stuff in and then it's going to put damage on them. So you etch them with scrawled glyphs, dealing 19,010 magic damage over 18 seconds. An ally near the initial target can activate the Rune Break synergy, dealing 10,454 frost damage to enemies within 7 meters. The other morph allows up to 3 allies can use the Rune Break synergy. These are pretty decent skills to run as well. However, keep in mind it's only a 22 meter range. This is a decent skill to run. This applies to yourself. It lasts 30 seconds. The Crux Wearer armor, Forged Defiant runic armor around you, granting you major resolve for 30 seconds. Again, we have that already from Oaken Soul, but if you're not running Oaken Soul, this is going to give you the major resolve, increasing your armor by 5,948. While the armor persists, taking damage applies minor breach, reducing the armor of your attacker by 2,974 for 6 seconds. Blows against your armor also generate crux once up to every 5 seconds. Runic Defense is an okay skill as well, but keep in mind it has only a 10 meter radius. This will immobilize enemies. The other one also grants armor and crowd control immunity when the heal occurs. You call forth a complex rune, granting you and your group members minor resolve for 20 seconds, increasing your armor by 2,974. You also gain minor protection for 20 seconds, reducing your damage taken by 5%. Which we already have that from Oaken Soul as well. The first time you are damaged while below 50% health, minor protection is consumed to heal you for 8,446 health, scaling off your max health, and you gain 2,700 armor and crowd control immunity. Alright, yeah. Remedy Cascade. This will heal for more on low health targets. The other one, the beam gradually heals for more the longer you channel it. This goes up to 192% more at the end of its duration for the curative surge. And the Cascading Fortune just heals more on low health targets. This channel the Abyss Sea to coalesce a beam that heals you and your allies in its path for 43,641 health over 4.5 seconds. The beam heals for up to 50% more proportional severity of the target's wounds. As you reweave Fate itself, consume crux to also restore 728 magic and stamina per crux spent to your allies over 4.5 seconds. Again, this is only a 22 meter range. It's a very narrow beam of only 4 meters. You know, and it lasts 4.5 seconds. I just don't like getting caught in this channel beam cast time. You can block cast it to cancel it. You can dodge roll it to cancel it. I just find it kind of clunky to try to use it in PvP. You know, Charcoal Shields is another decent thing. You can use this to add shields on your allies. The Destiny Morph creates a crux. Recasting the shield on a target increases the maximum shield strength by a total of 30% more. This is 9,154 damage for 6 seconds on 4 allies on you, or up to 4 allies in front of you. The title version of this, consume crux to heal based on the shield strength every second it persists. The shield heals for 33% of the shield's remaining strength every 1 second. The last one here, the Apocryphal Gate, I was hoping that this would have been better in PvP, or just in general. This is a 12 to 22 meter range, and the reason why you don't see a whole lot of people running around in PvP with this is because it's kind of clunky. It doesn't work as you think that it would. If the ground is slightly uneven, if you're trying to get it to go at the right spot, trying to get it to go your character in and out, there's a lot of issues with this. They need to do some work on it. But basically this puts down a portal and it allows you to teleport The fleet-footed gate, this is going to increase your movement speed after teleporting, and this passage between worlds grants us energy, allowing allies to teleport from one portal to another. Again, it doesn't work as well as you think that it would. I have some PvP footage at the end of this video if y'all want to check it out. If you enjoyed the video, please like, follow, and subscribe, and I'll try to get back to y'all with another one. Later.
kill me!